everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Sales Secrets. You know, today's interview, we've got a very special guest, actually from my own backyard here in the Sarasota, Florida area. And we are going to be talking with Brandy Coffey, who I've known for a few years and watched what she's done. And she is an amazing agent here in this area, as well as a broker and owner of an office. So a little bit of a broad background. So, you know, we've been kind of doing a theme lately, and it's how to succeed without going broke in real estate, except for I've asked Brandy a specific question, and it is this. It's if you woke up one day and you had lost everything. You didn't have any of your business. You didn't have any of your signs in the yards or nothing. You only have 30 days to get your business back so that you can feed your family. What would you do? So we're going to go into that. And welcome, Brandy Coffey. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, that's a really good question, Rob. It's a hard one, but a good one. I think for me, it goes back to the basics. I mean, I would work my sphere. Luckily, I grew up in Sarasota, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be shy. I would literally go through the phone book if I had to. And I don't know if some people on the call would know about what a phone book looks like, but this
That's right. We haven't seen one of those in a while.
No. So I mean, and that's literally what I did when I did not really know how to get started. I didn't really have a broker that was a residential broker. They were a commercial broker.
Really?
So yeah, I got hired as a receptionist in a very small firm. Okay. There were about 53 agents, I believe. And they had a home building company, which was a separate company. But I really didn't have any guidance. We didn't have training. So I just thought, well, I don't know who I'm going to call. No one's told me what to say or what to do. But I did pick up the phone book and I just went through it alphabetically.
Wow.
And I went and I know this street. I will call people on this street and I will just ask them, you know, are you looking to sell your house? Do you know someone looking to buy? I mean, I pretty much begged for business. And, you know, I wasn't overly aggressive to the point where I was impolite. I always learned to just be persistent with it and consistent. And that's what I would do. I would go back to just calling everyone I know and just really building strong relationships. And I think right now it would be even harder than it was when I got started because there's more competition.
You think so?
I do think so.
So go back to when you started. So we'll step back a second. How did you get into real estate? I mean, you said that you were hired as a receptionist, but how'd you even get involved in the first place?
Yeah, so I had just come back from Tampa. I went to USF, okay. And honestly, I didn't really want to leave Sarasota. I had taken every class possible at that campus, then went to St. Pete for a summer, and then I had to do my senior year in Tampa. So I left, and I was actually going into a graduate program called Industrial Organizational Psychology, which at USF, I think they had taken like 5 students or accepted 5 students out of the entire country. So it was a real specialized program. I really knew what I wanted to do. I was laser focused on that. And it just didn't work out. My mom was going through some radiation. My brother was in high school. My dad was working hard to make sure the medical and everything was paid for, and his insurance covered everything. She's fine. Everything's good now.
Good.
But everyone was getting their real estate license. And my sister, my other sibling, had her own family and a young son and a business herself. We all kind of had our own businesses, except for my dad. He was always worked for the same company. So everyone was kind of busy. And I thought, I need to just move back. I wasn't really in a good place up there relationship-wise because I wasn't from there, and I was just working and going to school. So I thought, you know what, come back to my roots, come back home, spend some time with mom, make sure everything's good there. It really scared me and kind of put things into perspective. I thought, gosh, I never thought about something happened to my parents when she was so young. And I just got my license, and I was working at a restaurant that I used to work at when I was like 18 before I even left to go to school. And they said, yeah, you can work a couple nights here. And I just paid my bills with that money and then worked from 10 to 6 at this little real estate office. And I met someone at the restaurant. They said, they're hiring and you can learn construction and commercial and residential. And I thought, I'm a nerd. I like to learn. That's 3 things I'd like to know about.
Perfect. So you actually started part-time. You were working in a restaurant and then doing, trying to learn and build a business.
Yeah. I mean, I was, yeah, work until 11 o'clock sometimes, 3 or 4 nights a week. And then I would go to the office from 10 to 6, and I didn't always make it there by 10. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough, and I would call on my way. And then I would just sometimes have to leave early to go to the restaurant and just had to make things work. But on the weekends, I begged for open houses. I begged for my first listing. I told them I would be at an open house 7 days a week or whenever they allow me. I had like Sunday football on, and I would have food, and I just made a party out of the open house. So all the neighbors would come, and I just held it open until I got a cash offer. And it was about a $620,000 listing. So that was my first commission.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how long have you been in real estate now?
15 years.
Okay. So you started before the wonderful real estate bust back in 7 and 8. So you went through that as well.
Yep. I was a receptionist in 2004, and then I transitioned to an agent, right like that year I transitioned. I was kind of doing both, like you said, part-time. But once I first got that first commission, I was like, okay, well, all you got to do is work. I mean, these are the things you have to do, door knock, open houses. And then I capitalized off that listing. I let everybody know that I sold the house and that I would do the same thing for them, and just built some relationships and went from there.
Perfect. All right. We're going to come back to that in a second. So, because you just said something really interesting that two things we'll come back to. So go back to working your sphere of influence and getting on the phone and calling people in the phone book. So if you're starting over today and you would do the same thing, so what would be your approach when you're calling them?
I would do it alphabetically. I mean, I'm a systems person in my mind. I majored in science and love math. So I would, and again, this is before a lot of technology. So I would look at zip codes on a map, and then I would find those addresses in the phone book. And I'm like, well, that's the neighborhood that has the most turnover. And I would pull the stats in MLS. So I knew what was turning over. And I looked at the price points that had the most buyers in them too. So I would look at the sales in each category. So I would look at 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then just keep going up. So I wasn't like, oh, let me go get $1 million listing. But that price point that was turning in this little neighborhood was 600,000 to 700,000, and it was just boom, boom. So I sold that house in 14 days. So I wasn't going through and calling alphabetically without having a plan.
Okay. So you'd narrow it down to the actual neighborhood that was moving.
That was moving. There were people coming in, there were people going out. So I knew there were buyers and there were sellers. There were buyers and there were sellers. And it just was a good, healthy price point. And I knew that I wasn't going to be too intimidated. I mean, I don't get intimidated by much. I'm kind of just like, go and do it and think about it later. But I definitely knew that I could market it, and I could create a budget for it. And I knew I could put the sweat equity in too, but it was a small neighborhood, but there was a lot of turnover. So I knew door knocking would be very easy. It was a couple of streets in a circle, it was great.
Nice. So you did some door knocking at the same time?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And my open houses, I mean, I would do very high level open houses. I had no idea what that meant at the time. I knew I wasn't going to sit there for 4 hours and be bored. I'm a highly social person. So I like the Denver Broncos. I was born in Colorado. I moved here at 7. So I would watch football, and I'm not going to watch football by myself. My family's at home. So I told the sellers, we're going to have a little football party and we're going to sell your house, but your neighbors might know someone. And I've invited everyone that might have a buyer in this price point, and we would have at least 20 people in the first 15 minutes of the open house just coming through. And then some people would stay, they would invite other people. And then I just got known for and I don't even like doing open houses, but I thought I'm going to make it fun and have food and beverages. And that way I'm not bored.
Yeah, absolutely. So you did door knocking or sphere of influence, but you picked neighborhoods. It wasn't just random in the phone book. You actually had a strategic plan to do it.
And I would find someone I knew in that neighborhood too. Yeah,
which is brilliant, because it wasn't just throwing it against the wall and opening the phone book. You found a neighborhood that had turnover.
Yep. And then I would find whoever I knew, like if I didn't know someone that lived in that neighborhood, I would call my database and go, who do you know that lives in this neighborhood? I want to be in this neighborhood this weekend for an open house.
Brilliant. So, and then you door knock and invite neighbors.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and my friends and anyone I mean, it wasn't just the people in that neighborhood. It was anyone I knew that might work for that price point. I mean, you know what people do for a living. You can kind of figure out, you know, it's like so much income coming in and you know who they are. I mean, you can kind of figure out who would qualify in a way. And then, you know, say, do you have any friends that are your worker looking? Is someone relocating? I mean, I just asked a lot of questions.
Nice. Nice. So what else did you do to promote the open house besides just door knocking and inviting people? Anything interesting?
Well, I mean, I always, like I said, I made it an event. I would let people know 14 days in advance what kind of food I was preparing. And I love to cook. So I would make sure they knew that that would be available. And then I would go to Publix and I would talk to the manager and I would talk to the people checking me out. And they would say, wow, you're buying, what are you doing? Are you having a party? I am. This is where I am having a party. And anyone in this neighborhood that wants to come on Sunday. And I'd have these little flyers. And I don't even know if they were supposed to keep them or hand them out, but we didn't have social media. Yeah. So, you know, we had the MLS, we could say we're having an open house, but I would put it on my website. I had a great website, but, you know, we didn't really have the means to do advertising the way we do today.
Right, right. So when you said social media, so fast forward and say, we're going to go off on a little tangent right here. Sure. So I know that you do social media a lot, yeah, and especially with what you're doing. So if you're doing an open house nowadays, how would you add that social media piece in to promote it? What would you do?
Yeah, so we start promoting it well before the open house. We also have groups of friends or what we call influencers that we've categorized our friends and sphere into on the back end of social media. So one, we engage with them on a high level. We're always commenting. Well, we're friends, so we'd want to comment anyway, but we don't just go on there and like their comments. We actually engage. Oops, sorry. Oh, sorry. My computer is hooked up to my phone.
See, people will know this is live. It's not staged.
Hello?
Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. My phone is hooked up to my computer.
That's all right. People will know this is live. It's not staged.
I'm a realtor. My phone rings. So.
That's right. Exactly.
Sorry.
And she's a busy realtor too.
Yeah, my assistants will pick it up. Now it rolls over to them, so I should have had that shut off. I don't even know how to do it. That's the problem. Now I have so much leverage, I don't even know how to work my systems. They'll tell me how to do it when I get back.
That's right. That's right. All right. So you're talking about influencers and making real comments on their.
Yeah. So when people think about, oh gosh, who should I be in contact with when I'm selling real estate? And sometimes people think of influencers as people that are wealthy or have a lot of money. I actually have a lot of friends that they're just so involved in the community and highly social to where if we both kind of partner up on promoting something, or if I get them to be a cheerleader of what I do as a business, because maybe we've, you know, been a part of a foundation together, or we're a part of a charity together, or we have done an event together. In some way we've bonded and have that relationship, they then become a cheerleader for me. And I know they have a lot of influence on social media. So I'll make sure that they're aware of what's going on, the event, make sure that they are able to invite everyone they know, in addition to who we are actually announcing the event to.
Oh, nice. Very nice. What else would you do on social media? Anything else, or is it just mainly getting them involved?
Well, we just do like the geo-targeting, geo-fencing, all that stuff. You know, we'll push it in front of the people that we feel like certain things on Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com. We also invite realtors. I mean, 82% of our transactions are through agent-to-agent connection. And I think sometimes when we get in this highly competitive market, we stop sharing things with people that work at other brands or indie offices. And I think you're really shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, what if that realtor's the buyer? What if, you know, they have a buyer and they're so busy that they didn't see it on MLS because it's lost in the inventory, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So we send out e-flyers with videos to the realtor list, and we remind them several times in addition to posting it to a list of realtors on the social media platforms.
Nice. So you've got a list. You segregate your social media platforms into various lists, from influencers, yes, to realtors and all of that.
Correct. Cool. And then on LinkedIn, we belong to a lot of groups, and we have about 12,000 connections on there. So we're certainly going to utilize LinkedIn at a high level too, especially if it's an investment property, or it's something like a commercial multifamily, things like that.
Nice. So that's interesting because I know a lot of agents, they hear about Facebook, they hear about Instagram, and they use those. But now
Right.
talk about LinkedIn. And I know we're off on a tangent, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We're good. Talk a little bit about what you do. You have 12,000 connections on LinkedIn. What do you do with that?
So a lot of times people, they don't utilize LinkedIn at a high level because they feel like they're getting solicited.
Mhm.
And I had that same feeling in the beginning. I thought, I really liked LinkedIn. It's more of a business-minded conversation you're typically having with people. But some people are not engaging back because they feel like they're being sold. Well, why not find out what they do for a living? Maybe you're not going to be in business with them, but maybe you can help their business, and then they're going to, in turn, promote what you have going on. And it's still a relationship. And I think we should never disregard any connection and stop looking at, again, realtors as competition or people on LinkedIn as selling you something. They are in business. I'm sure they would love to profit from, some relationship you have with them. And I'm sure they'd love to sell you something, but maybe that business or that platform or that software program or whatever they're trying to sell you doesn't work for your business, but maybe you can put them in connection with someone else, and then they're going to feel grateful, and then maybe say, hey, I saw this great video and I think this might be perfect for this person. You should contact them.
That's awesome. So you're becoming a connector as well.
Yeah, I like forming connections, and you never know where that connection is going to lead to. I did get a listing on LinkedIn for over $1 million, and a lot of people say, oh, I never get listings on LinkedIn. And it was a vice president of a major national home building company who has their own real estate company, and they still referred me the listing. That had already been through 3 realtors, and we did sell it, and that was just through LinkedIn. They messaged me, I like what you're doing on here. I feel like you know how to market luxury properties, and we really like to talk to you. I didn't even have to go to the house. We talked on the phone. He's like, I've already looked you up. I know what you do. I see what's going on. I need you to sell this house. It's just one of those houses we haven't been able to sell.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's such an overlooked part of the social media aspect, even though, or at least on the realtor side, it is, for the regular, that is the number one business to business connection and
right.
that's out there. Not Facebook, not LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn.
Yeah, and we actually, we extract the list from LinkedIn, and then we organize it, and then we actually touch specifically to certain vendors, and we always have something very special to say to them. It's not an auto message. So yes, you can auto message in LinkedIn, and that might be, 1 or 2 leads you get out of that. But you're gonna have a higher conversion ratio if you handpick the people you really want to be in business with and really tailor those touches maybe once a month and call them and just ask them, what can I do to help your business? And come from contribution. So they might even learn how to do that rather than sending their auto messages. I think they learn from how we approach them too.
Awesome. Awesome. You use Sales Navigator?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure a lot of people don't even know about Sales Navigator.
I love Sales Navigator. My brother uses it too. My brother loves it.
That's right. It's phenomenal. It's outstanding. The things that it will let you do. We won't go down that tangent, but
yeah, we could talk about that for like 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I love that thing. It's awesome. We may have to have a bonus session for everybody and talk about just the LinkedIn part of it as well.
I'll have to get my brother on that one too. He gets excited about that.
All right. So let's get back to this. So you've got sphere of influence. You've got big unopened houses. What else would you be doing within that first 30 days?
So I think the key thing that people forget is marketing. I think we are a marketer first, especially if you want to get into higher price points. The one thing that really led me into that first listing was putting together a creative and different marketing plan on a budget. And I feel like a lot of agents, when they're new or they just don't know what to do, they think they have to spend a lot of money. And quite frankly, you can get assistance with it. You can, again, certainly reach out to businesses and ask them, can I put my flyers here? Or can I put them up at your school? There's all these really inexpensive ways to form relationships and get people to help you promote your business. And then when you get a budget and you go, okay, now I can spend money on, branding myself and getting my brand out there and, certainly increasing the high quality collateral. I think that comes later, but I think in the beginning, it's people. It goes back to relationships.
You know, that's a big thing that I think we are getting away from a lot in this industry because of the technology companies that are so well known and coming in, and we get inundated every day with buy this, we're going to do your leads and all that. We've
Right.
kind of forgotten that relationship part of it. And
For
that
sure.
sounds like that's a theme with everything that you have done. You're building relationships.
Well, and I'll be honest, I kind of got away from it for a little while, not intentionally, but you do get so much business at some point. I mean, you start with that very first listing and, you beg for it and you do the open house and then you capitalize off it. But there gets to be a certain point after you really put all that sweat equity in that the business is just coming to you, and you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. And then you forget to how to really have these strong connections and how to keep them. And you're lucky that people like you, so they still keep calling you. But the last couple of years with Zillow and all this technology, I think it just reminded us of how precious those relationships are and how important they are for so many reasons, even outside of business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's interesting how the ones that are coming into the business now don't do a whole lot of relationship building.
Well, it's not even that they don't want to, it's not being taught. I
Yeah.
feel that a lot of agents are interviewing in different brokerages, and the first question is, how many leads are you going to give me? And what's my split? And it's like, I don't remember. I started thinking about, I interviewed at every firm in town before I worked for this small indie company. And I don't remember ever asking them, because I didn't even know to ask that. So I think they're being trained and taught to ask the wrong questions. And I think that when they are getting training, it's not based on influence and sphere and all those important things.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? I mean, where's that come from? Why are they not being taught that anymore?
I think that at the other, at some other companies, they're interviewing there first, and maybe that's the conversation. They're basing the conversation around that. And so I think that when you have a buyer heavy firm, and I look at some of these numbers, and I'm not specifically thinking about a specific brand,
Yep.
I think a lot of buyer business is more prevalent, when you look at their numbers. And so that's all the brokerage knows and how to survive. So of course, when they're talking to the agent, the whole conversation is based around that, instead of lead generating your sphere or really forming strong relationships. It's just, I'm going to give you so many online leads. We buy this from Zillow and we'll guarantee you, X amount per month. They never ever talk about the online lead conversion ratio.
Right.
And I feel like, listen, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to buy leads, but just make sure it works for your budget. And that really should be gravy on top of the base of your business, which is your database.
Nice. Very nice. Do you have a specific database that you use, or is it your company's database that they provide?
We are really heavily involved with Command.
Yep.
So that's what is provided with us. We are kind of transitioning out of some other CRMs. I do like BombBomb, so we'll probably keep that and integrate that into Command, depending on how high level we can use video with Command. Yep. I'm sure it'll continue to evolve, as I've seen it evolve at an exponential rate so far. Oh, yes. But I do like BombBomb. I love video. I feel video is also underutilized by agents. I feel that when you send a video text message or you send a video email, when someone cannot pick up their phone when you've tried to call them, even if you do not know them and it's a new contact, and you might have a nurturing process, I think it goes a little bit further when they put a face with a name, because they're probably calling every agent on Zillow.
Yes. Talk about that a little bit more, because you've mentioned that a couple of times, video. You send out the e-flyer with videos to agents to promote your open houses. You're sending out videos to prospects as well. What kind of videos do you send?
So I really don't care about being in the perfect light or having this really well-produced video. I think that works very well, maybe on a luxury property. But I also think that agents that maybe don't have the budget for those, and even right now, I still will be at a property and maybe I'm near the beach. And it doesn't even have to be your listing. If you don't have a beachfront listing, then go out to the beach and just do a quick video. Like we went to the Sandcastle event on Siesta last night. That's a wonderful thing for an agent in any price point and any amount of experience to go out there and just say, hey, if you want to live on the #1 beach in the country or nearby, here are the kind of events where children are invited. The whole family's here. There's food, there's activities, there's amazing sculptures in the sand, crystal quartz sand. I mean, it was freezing cold and we still had an amazing time. So why not send that to people up north? I mean, it's like 30 degrees some places.
But it's not snowing. That's the key.
It's not snowing here, and
That's right.
The lifestyle and amenities are really important. And I think if you also do not want to have this well-produced video and you just want to show how raw and real you are, I think people find you more genuine. Again, I think there's a place for the production videos, but pretty much everyone has an iPhone or a Droid. You can really just shoot a quick video next to a business owner at a restaurant talking about a great meal you had, and that can go on all your social media platforms. Tag those businesses, mention that owner that was a family-owned restaurant, that they're always there and that they treat you in a nice way when you come in with your clients or your family, and I'm sure they're going to remember you.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that, because it's, I've talked to people about video and they always talk about making sure the light's good and what do I say, and I said, just go talk.
Yeah.
Talk about you, talk about your story, and then talk about things that, give them tips on what to do, because that's, I don't know. I've never seen Zillow go to the sandcastle,
right.
and do a video from there and say, hey, you guys should come down and join us.
Yeah, I agree. I forgot to do my video there because I was having so much fun, but I got a lot of pictures, so I will post that on social media.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. How often do you put out just an informational or fun video? Do you do that? Do you have a schedule, or is it just whenever you can?
Well, actually, my buyer's agent, Megan West, I'll give her a little props for this. She loves to talk about how low the interest rates are right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of buyers that are, well, we're going to wait for the price point to go down, right? Prices have been so good for so long, they must go down.
Right.
Well, she starts to calculate and show them examples, and she'll actually have it on the video of, if you do wait, here will be the difference if the interest rate goes up 0.5 point or 1/4 point, whatever her little example is. And I think that's really educational and informative. And then we also send out newsletters where we have video from either our properties, or we'll have tips and tricks. And we'll also have just market stats for not only the local boards, but we'll break down in each price point, because I think sometimes people look at the newspaper and they read that, or they look at the board of realtors and they'll go, oh, there's 4 months of inventory and average days on market are 60 days. And, our property is going to sell very quickly and the average home price is $400,000. Well, that's great. That's an overall, tri-county overview, but each price point's different. Every price point has a different amount of buyers that have actually purchased. And that's going to tell you a little bit more about where the market's going and where it's trending and absorption rates.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So if somebody's having a challenge just with the video thing, because a lot of people are having a challenge,
Sure.
They won't do it. How do they get unstuck from it? How do they get, what would you say to do?
Yeah. So I always tell people, if you mess up or you make a mistake, people are human. And I think anyone you send that video to is going to understand, or even if you are live on social media, I think it makes you more real. I think even if you're walking your dog, or you're out in the park, or you're doing something outside of work and your phone rings and it's a lead or it's a client, I even still FaceTime with them, or I'll send them a video. Hey, I'm just walking my dog. As soon as I get back to my computer, I'll look that up for you. Here, Dakota wants to say hi, or, I'm just out with a neighbor. This is my neighbor. And, I just try to be real. And even if it's not perfect, people like genuine people. I think they're going to relate to you more than, perfect makeup, perfect hair, this lighting's perfect. I mean, that's great, but I just think that people aren't going to connect with you at such a fast rate. I think they want to be around people that are honest and genuine, and you're going to build trust a lot faster if you're real.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, people are going to do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Yep.
And if all you are is just if it's perfect like the newscasters, it's probably not going to work.
Right. Exactly.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So, man, there's a bunch of good stuff here. So what else? Any other tips that you would give somebody?
As a new agent or someone maybe struggling,
Yeah.
get over that fear, kind of the mindset thing we just talked about. It kind of goes along to transition out of video. Listen, you're going to fail a lot. I mean, I still have a lot of messy middle stuff that I deal with as I grow different companies. And right now I have about 5 different companies running. So
Yeah.
you're going to have your really good times, and you're going to have a lot of reward monetarily, spiritually, giving back, having a purpose. There's so many wonderful things that you'll get out of this business with very low capital to start up. But I will say, you've got to get over that fear and just stop getting ready to get ready. Go do an open house. Even if you're working 3 other jobs, go do an open house for 1 hour. And a friend of mine, Tony Fitzgerald's a mortgage broker. He teaches ninja selling. He said that if he was a new agent, he would go, and he teaches this, to the schools and let them know that it's free coffee, free Starbucks, and he'd open it after school drop off. So people could just stop by, even if it's for 5 minutes. And yeah, he'd have an open house in the morning or after school, right after they pick up the kids, and have stuff for the kids. And how many people you might get with just having free Starbucks? I mean, how many contacts do you think you could make? And they all come to you if you're afraid to pick up the phone,
Yep. That's outstanding. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Brandy, there's a load of great information in this. And we went on some great tangents that actually nobody's actually talked about yet. So
cool.
This is good. So very good. I want to say thank you very, very much. Any last tips that you want to throw out there?
No, thank you. My pleasure. I hope everyone enjoys this. And I feel that, we just need to really share more with agents to agents. I hope that everyone took that comment and they're going to hopefully get something out of that. I feel the more you share and the more you learn, the more you're going to grow. And so look at your peers as friends and how you can help each other. We all have the same goal. We all want to sell, and we all want to help families, and we all want to make it a smooth process. So if there's a new agent on the other end and you see they're struggling, offer to help them, offer to give them some advice, and even don't look at them as, oh, I have to share my commission with them and I'm doing all the work. Yeah, you might have to, but help them grow and help them learn. They might not have, everything you have as far as training at your office, or maybe they do, or maybe they're just working another job and they can't make it to that training. So just, try to come from contribution.
Absolutely. So if somebody needs to send you a referral in your areas, what areas do you work, Brandy?
So I cover pretty much all of Manatee County and Sarasota County. So that would be like Terracea down to about Inglewood.
Perfect. And how does somebody get in touch with you if they want to send you some business?
Sure. So my cell phone is 941-284-4474. It's been my same cell phone for 15 years. And then my email is super easy. It's just my name, Brandy Coffey, with the area code 941@gmail.com. And it's BrandyCoffey 941@gmail.com.
Perfect. And I know you have your own office down in the Venice area. If anybody's looking, they should come down and visit you, right?
Yep. Our main office is in Venice. I do have a couple of other companies. I have a property management company downtown. So we have an office there. They also have an office out on Longboat for the property management, seasonal property management. And then I have a staging company. We are opening that on Hillview very soon. We're in permitting. And then my team is in Osprey. So we've got quite a bit of ground covered.
Nice. Very nice. Well, Brandy, thank you so much. And we are very grateful for your time and the information. This is going to help a lot of agents, regardless of where they are. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This is Brandy Coffey. Remember, if you need to send somebody to Sarasota, Venice, Bradenton, anything in between, look her up. You have her contact information. You guys go make it a great day and make it a great life.